I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. There are a lot of these quote-unquote underrated and hidden gem Roblox games out there, and it can be hard to find the ones that are actually worth playing. But I've got you. Today, I'm bringing you some of the best underrated Roblox games that I guarantee you'll have a good time with. So without further ado, number 1 on the list is... Decaying Winter is a wave-based shooter. What the fuck is even going? Scavenge and defend. Developed by Eden227, Decaying Winter is an addicting shooter that doubles as a roguelite. Survive while you scavenge for resources until the storm ravages these ruined crossroads, at which point you either successfully defend yourself against waves of enemies, or die. Rinse and repeat through 10 nights, and you're done, depending on what you've accomplished during your time scavenging. More on that later, cause I know y'all want the spiel. What makes Decaying Winter fun? You will die from your mistakes. Matter of fact, you'll die from your teammates' mistakes. But learning from them and getting just a bit further through each run is incredibly rewarding because of how challenging the base game is. But it ain't rocket science. Eventually, with enough trial and error, you'll know exactly what to do in most situations, which is totally fine because Decaying Winter's main gameplay loop is addicting once you've got the hang of it. It's a race against time to match short-term obstacles while being ahead enough in resources to be prepared for late-game threats. Like, you're telling me I gotta manage my short-term terminal cancer so I'm fast enough to blueprint enough KSGs to take down the mid-game Sledge Queen, who, by the way, can propel herself with a shotgun attachment? But you get the idea. There's always something to do, an objective to accomplish, that keeps you engaged in Decaying Winter's gameplay, which by itself would have been pretty cool. But then the devs said, no, hold up, let us cook, we've got customization options too. Because in what other game can you swap from Conjuring the Souls of the Damned to Heavy TF2, with different classes and traits to choose from that legitimately change your playstyle based on their respective strengths and weaknesses? The replayability is off the charts on this one. But maybe the devs cooked too much with this game. On your first run, boy, the control scheme, you're given absolutely nothing. No tutorial, and no tips on how to play your classes. And with so many mechanics, so many bits of knowledge that you just need to know, Decaying Winter can initially feel outright unfair. Regardless, I highly recommend it. Their content and gameplay more than make up for this flaw, leaving it up there with some of the greats. I've got to give it one of Yonkagori's memory merge out of 4. Look, I'm not a furry, the music's just really good. What can I say? Developed by H. Volkov, Unusual Force is a third-person fighting game taking huge inspiration from the Yakuza and Judgment franchises. Spawn in, throw hands with these clearly non-copyrighted styles, and repeat. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This game tickles your brain in the best way possible. Your swings have that impact to them, that and pulling off combos with them feels incredibly satisfying. But game feel isn't what makes the game, and that's totally fine for Unusual Force because its gameplay is dumb fun. With the straightforward control scheme, it's easy to pick up, but the variable combo game and neutral keep it hard to master. I'll fuck with this heavy. Anyone and everyone can join, whether it be for screwing around with friends or actively trying to improve. But regardless of whichever one you prefer, Unusual Force is pretty damn replayable. There are 23 unique styles equipped with custom movesets and skills, which gives you access to a wide variety of playstyles and an even greater variety of combo routes to love out. They're pretty straightforward to figure out, but just complex enough to keep you hyped when you actually pull them off. And the visuals, goodness the visuals. They're nothing groundbreaking, but they look good and play a big part of what makes Unusual Force work. Like, the customizable auras you emit as you get further into a fight are already pretty badass, but then you got outlines for your moves as well to add on to their impact? At the end of the day, the game's just a PvP beat 'em up where you're there to feel your punches, and damn do the visuals help you feel them. Until they don't, because the styles are not 100% balanced. Some classes are just plain worse than others, but whatever, there are plenty of viable styles out there. Just, Volk, why won't you let me permanently keep my styles when I unlock them? Still a damn good game, despite these flaws. Probably the most replayable of the ones in this video. I give it You're Just Like Pop Music out of 1/3 circus hops. Boom! Money. Developed by Vanilla Deluxe, the same group that made these two games, Mini Megafactory is a roguelite tycoon-esque game where you enter a level, use droppers and upgrades to profit, and win, at which point you do it all over again. Now hold your horses, I know this sounds a bit boring, but trust me when I say this ain't just another tycoon game where everything about your progress is automated. Mini Megafactory gives you full creative freedom over your builds. You can place whatever you want, wherever you want, and actually feel their tangible benefits or consequences accordingly. But you might be asking, I'm P69, this isn't groundbreaking, a bunch of other games have already done this. True, but Mini Megafactory just does it better. Those other games can take an incredibly long time to complete, which can make their gameplay loops repetitive. Mini Megafactory, on the other hand, is a roguelite. Its level-based pacing is much faster, keeping it interesting. Yeah, let's compare these two. Both are phenomenal games for customization, but one definitely does it better. Right, so off the bat, we've got to pick which upgrade suits our build. Oh, our build's pretty good. But imagine how much better it could be with this ultra deluxe upgrade. You get the idea. Mini Megafactory keeps you genuinely engaged with its short-term and long-term progression system. And I know, with this much content, you'd think things would get complicated, but the devs thought of this. Everything you need to know from the ores you sell to the upgraders is provided with these handy tooltips, so the only complexity you need to worry about is in the structure of your build. Now that we're on the topic of builds though, replayability. Yeah, having variable short-term upgraders you can choose from is already enough, but the devs went above and beyond with unlockable upgraders that show up in future runs and unique levels with gimmicks that tangibly affect gameplay. This makes it so that every level after the first is always going to play different, whether that be with structure or which upgraders you use. With no major flaws, Mini Megafactory is a chill game you can hop on if you've had a long day and need to take your mind off something. 2 silly plans revisited out of 3 trickle mesmerizers. Yup, we got multiple artists in this. Woo! But we're not done yet. Honorable mention, Rusher. Developed by Chris, Rusher is a different take on the rhythm game genre. With only 2 buttons and inputs, it's very easy to learn, but hard to master. Look, some songs are crazy with their pace and input mix-ups, and it can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. Which is great, because going through these songs is an absolute blast. Like, dude, you feel the music, and it's not just from properly timing your notes. The background going off, these pause beats, the notes coming in on independent timings. It's hype. And the visuals help out here too. On the slower songs, sure, you can just line up the notes and profit, but the faster songs will punish you for that. Thankfully, all the individual beats are bright and distinct enough to get past those 300 BPM songs with timing and peripheral vision alone, so lock the hell in and go off. Yeah! 5 you'll be gones out of 2. Seriously, I'm not a furry, it's just really, really good music.